Hey there guys, Artistic Nick here, thanks for the click. In today's drawing tutorial, I'm going to be drawing Chun Li from the Street Fighter series. As always, I start freehanding a sketching using my Caran D'ache 2H pencil. This is a very light pencil and it allows me to make corrections easily as I go along. One thing that I will say to everybody that's been watching these videos and asking some fantastic questions is, what you start with is definitely not what you're going to end up with. So you've got to start getting something down on paper first and then make corrections as you go along. For the line work, I'm using a V5 Pilot high-tech point fine line marker. This is much thinner than the Faber-Castell Artist Pitt pens that I've recently been using. One thing that you have to make sure if you're using these pens though is that the ink does take a little bit longer to dry. I did actually smudge a small area around the eye on the right hand side. I thought I'd left it for quite a while, but clearly I hadn't. For the rest of the drawing, I'm using copic markers. I'm laying a base coat down of yellowish shade for Chun Li's face and skin. I'm then moving on to a phthalo blue for Chun Li's clothing, and I'm using a frost blue for the areas around Chun Li's hair which are holding her buns up. I then decided to use a light brown for Chun Li's hair. This way I could go over with some of my Prismacoloured pencils in a darker coloured brown just to bring out some of the darker areas and some of the strands of hair. I feel that this worked out quite well and I do like the final look. Thank you so much guys for supporting the channel. I've had some fantastic requests in recently. This was a request that came in earlier last week, so I hope you're enjoying this video. It really did take me back to my childhood. Street Fighter was always a game that I played growing up as a child in the early 90s, and Chun Li was actually one of my favourite characters. So I'd just like to know in the comments below, who is your favourite Street Fighter character from any of the game series over the last 2 decades. It'd be really interesting to get your feedback. Also, don't forget, if you do have any requests for me, please send them in down below in the comments, or you can get hold of me on social media. The links to all of my social platforms are down below in the descriptions, and it'd be really great to hook up with you on there. Don't be shy. Let me know what you think of the channel. If you've got any ideas for future improvements or videos that you'd like me to make, then you can get hold of me on, like I say, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. For all of the shaded area on Chun Li's face, I'm actually using a colour called chamois, which is a slightly darker brown, but it's not as dark as the hair, and I just thought that this made some fantastic shadowed areas. To finish off, I used Prismacolor coloured pencils. I went through the dark brown, brown and a black just to try and get some definition in the darkest areas. To finish off the drawing, I decided to go with an orange background, and for this I used my Winsor & Newton markers. I just feel with the Winsor & Newton markers, when I'm colouring a background in, the nibs are slightly harder and they just allow me to cover the areas a little bit smoother than I would do with the Copic markers. So I decided to go for a bright orange. I'm really happy with how it turned out, guys. Let me know what you think of this or any of my other videos. There's the finished look of Chun Li. I hope you like it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hit subscribe. Smack the notifications button, follow me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.